Welcome to Live with Hillsdale Hospital. Today is Wednesday, July 31st, and we're here to keep all of you, our patients, families, neighbors, and friends in the know and up to date on the latest health news in our community. I'm Rachel Lott, Chief Communications Officer. I got through most of that without looking at my iPad.
You didn't look at your iPad, and you didn't even take a breath.
Good for me. It's only been
That's
100
amazing.
years, so
Yeah.
wow, good for me.
64.
And I'm joined as always by...
J.J. Hodshire, President and Chief Executive Officer. I do not need an iPad for that either.
You don't even have yours as a crutch,
Yeah, I
so
know.
this is really impressive.
It's
That's
rough
great.
today. But that means it's going to be short.
Yes. It is. Famous last words are the two of us.
Our friends will
but
like. That's right.
We're going to do just some kind of quick updates today and just give you some high-level overview on a couple different things going on, exciting things going on here at the hospital and within the Hillsdale Hospital organization. And then we're going to do a fun new segment/game that we're starting on our live streams just to, keep it a little more fun and exciting. Yeah.
Good.
And to test our knowledge in various areas.
Oh, boy.
So we will also be keeping a running total. So when we get to that segment, Kirsten will start putting up our running total of points on the screen.
Right.
How long should we, when should we end our competition of the running total?
I say we do it for a couple months.
Okay, let's just see how many points we get and then decide if we're ready
I'll
to
have zero.
slow it down.
You'll have all the points.
No, I don't know about that.
I do.
So, okay, so let's first talk about Reading Health Clinic.
Yeah, Rachel, we have shared probably for the last 4 months, we have been discussing the Reading Health Clinic either on our radio program or live, having conversations about a lot of movement. And I want to reiterate again to the public, to our patients and our supporters, physician and advanced practice provider movement is inevitable. It happens. Retirements, resignations, specialties. We find that to be consistent in the industry with what's occurring at Hillsdale. Individuals leave to pursue other passions, whether it is going into some type of dermatology, as we had one, going in and working with a whole new population, doing telemedicine, getting out of primary care altogether, individuals that retire or that leave. As much as it pains us to see this happen, it is the industry.
Right.
People come and people go, and they will come and go long after you and I have gone.
Right.
And so what we do is we make sure that we have an alignment and a strategy that ensures that we have continuous care for our patients. Reading is no different. I remember starting here at Hillsdale in 2010, so it's been quite a while ago. And, prior to that, the reading clinic was staffed by Drs. Toner and Gutowski. And it's gone through a significant amount of changes, as all clinics do. If you're listening today and thinking about your own primary care clinics or your specialty clinics, or where you've gone for 20 or 30 years, rarely would that be consistent. That individual either hires new people, especially as we have advanced practice providers stepping up and becoming part of practices, and that occurs. They go, they move, they seek other opportunities, they get into specialty care, they may join urology, which we've had happen, they may join a specific discipline, they may come over to the hospital side. Anyway, long story short, reading has been through a tremendous amount of growth, and we have had a lot of providers down in that community, and it's vasculated back and forth in terms of APPs to community providers for medical doctors and DOs. All that to say, we've got a good team. And what is consistent historically through all of these changes is the core group of staff that remain. Your office coordinators, your MAs, the phlebotomist, those type of positions, someone checking in at the front counter, checking you in. Historically, that has been and stays the same person. And so providers come and go. We try to retain them to the degree that we can, but if they're resolved that they want to start their own career, their own business, we're not going to stop that. But what we can assure you, as we have in reading, Rachel, is that we'll have great providers. So I'm excited that Sherry Gillespie is doing a phenomenal job.
She's doing incredibly well.
She is. And we're hearing patient testimonial after patient testimonial. She is doing a remarkable job down there, and she's pretty much running the ship alone.
Yes.
And so we have some help coming. We'll talk about that with Dr. Mew's arrival. But reading is vibrant. It's healthy. It's a lot of patients. It is very active right now. And patient wait lists are a little bit longer than we like, but we're shoring that up. We're putting other providers there. But we really
as
just see
Sherry
throughput.
sees patients that are having a new patient visit with her as a new provider, those wait times will decrease
They will.
because her appointment times will be shorter
Yeah.
because you don't need as long of an appointment when you're coming in for one thing versus a new patient
Yeah.
appointment and things like that. So, but she's already
Very good.
seeing, you know, up to maybe 15, I think might be
15,
one of the highest numbers
15,
I've
16
seen out
a
there a day,
Yeah.
doing a ton of new patient visits.
Yeah.
So she is
It's
really
remarkable.
yeah, just doing a great job with the patients and really improving that access,
Yeah.
because that was one of the challenges that we've had out there is wait times to get
It is.
in. And
It
so
is.
Sherry's really been able to help decrease that, and will continue to decrease the
She
longer
will.
she's here.
And she's seeing new patients, so that's
Yes.
important.
Right.
So existing patients, new patients, patients that may move to the area that need a provider, please contact us. Reading Health Clinic, we'll get you an appointment scheduled.
And then speaking of Dr. Muse, you mentioned Dr. Muse.
did.
Why don't we go ahead and talk
Yeah,
about her?
so Dr. Muse is becoming our primary care medical director and provider.
Yes.
It's a dual role. Right now, that position is held by Dr. Bennett, and it's really a dual role for Dr. Bennett because she has her own private practice,
Right.
plus she's supervising our folks. After Dr. Lusty retired, which we had a retirement party a few weekends ago, phenomenal. I want to, again, thank Dr. Lusty and her years of service here, decades of service, serving in the capacity that she did, taking care of many people. I heard, we invited their family to our family. We had a little get together for my daughter graduated, and the number of people when they saw Dr. Lusty there that came up to me and said, "She saved my life." And I told that story at her going away party.
Yeah.
Is just the number of people, the impact lives. Is just too numerous to count.
Right.
And
right.
so
we got a ton of great comments on
We
our
did.
last episode when we had talked about Dr.
Yeah.
Lusty and
Yeah.
cut a little short video of that
We
out,
did,
and
we did.
lots of positive
a
comments.
lot of
Everyone
positive
loves
about
Dr. Lusty.
her in the community. We miss her already. But when that happens, those retirements and those things need to happen for people, is that we have opportunities like Dr. Muse. So when Dr. Lusty stepped away from her practice and retired fully, Dr. Bennett became a little busier in that practice, as did Lindauer. And so her availability to serve in that medical director role was not existent. So we were able to go out and hire Dr. Muse, who's been here before in the community, in the area, born and raised in the area, and comes back here in about, I think, 3 weeks, 4
That
weeks. She'll
sounds
be
right.
here.
Yep.
And she'll be in reading, she'll be at HHW, but she is overall the medical director of primary care. So each of our departments have medical directors. So the medical director for OBGYN, for example, is Dr. Snisko, orthopedics, Dr. Patel. We have those because we need chiefs and leaders. And so Dr. Muse is coming. She will be providing services in reading, HHW, as well as serving in this very
Right,
important role. So
right.
we're very excited to welcome her
Yes.
to our hospital. Hopefully have her on a live here soon.
Yes, and we also have patients who are already calling to try and get scheduled with
They
Dr.
are.
Muse. So they're still in the process of building her schedule. So we won't be able to get you scheduled with her just yet. But as
Yeah.
soon as that is open and available, we will certainly
Jump
let
on it.
everybody know. We'll post something here on our social media so that you know if that's something you're interested in, that you'll be able to call and get scheduled with her.
Yeah.
And we've talked about this before, but we can't miss once again congratulating Rihanna. Rihanna
Yeah.
Pickering at HHW at Hillsdale Health and Wellness for completing her her psychiatric nurse mental. Let me start over.
Start over.
Her psychiatric mental health nurse practitioner certification.
For
I think I got it.
pediatric.
And she is seeing pediatric
Yeah.
patients for mental health
Yeah.
appointments at Hillsdale Health and Wellness. So we're very excited for her. Of course, she's out there super busy,
Yeah.
taking care of patients, being, the beloved Rihanna
Yeah.
that she is, that everyone loves her out there. I mean, we hear so many great comments
Yeah.
about Rihanna. And she's like, you know what? In addition to doing all of this wonderful work on the side, I'm just going to go back and get another
Oh, I
nurse
know.
practitioner
I know.
certification.
I know.
And here we are. So
Here we are.
she is incredible and is going to be able to kind of fill that gap in care with that mental health piece of it for pediatric patients in our community.
Yeah.
So-
Also seeing dozens of patients at the same time for
Yes,
primary
right,
care.
for primary care. She's still seeing primary
Yes.
care. She will now also be seeing some of those pediatric
Yes.
patients for mental health.
Yeah. Very important.
So, and then we had kind of a historical day on, was it Monday, I believe, here at Hillsdale
Yes.
Hospital in the OR?
Well, Friday.
Friday.
Sorry. Friday started.
Yeah, so Friday we, I literally have it here in my notes that it said Friday. If only I would read my notes before I start talking. Story of my life. But Dr. Alam, our visiting specialist for vascular surgery, performed 2 procedures here on Friday that were the first time here at Hillsdale Hospital that we have performed these procedures. They're considered very high-end procedures for vascular care, and they went beautifully.
Beautiful.
The patients did very well. Obviously, the procedures went very well, and it was just a great, really milestone
It was.
for our team in the OR and for our program here, and to show really what we can do here in Hillsdale.
Two
which is
major
pretty cool.
bypasses. Two major bypasses.
I have the names of them right here. Let's see if I can pronounce them.
Let's do it.
Probably not, but I'm going to give it a try. So, one was a carotid endarterectomy. That doesn't sound like a real word, but I believe that it is. And then the other one was an aorta bifemoral bypass.
That is correct. You are absolutely right.
So, I'm not a doctor. I just play one on TV.
one on this television.
Yeah, on live
But
stream.
Rachel, I cannot stress how awesome this is,
Yes.
because I was told years ago we would never do these type of procedures ever at a hospital this size. And not only did we do them, and we launched this, if you remember, months ago with EVARs,
Right,
endovascular aneurysm repairs. And the EVARs, again, was told you'll never do EVARs. Doing them, now they're commonplace for
Also,
Dr. Alam.
very successful.
But
yeah.
Dr. Alam coming here to do the bypasses, stayed on campus, literally slept here, make sure the patients were well cared for, rounded on those patients the next day. Incredible commitment on behalf of the new anesthesia group, in their group doing a phenomenal job, as well as the nursing staff, the nursing leadership, and then recovery of those patients in our critical care unit. Wonderful team members up at CCU in leadership there, just receiving those patients. The great news about Dr. Alam, he comes in usually a week before, several days before, and both, and has education for the staff and everyone from anesthesia to cardiopulmonary to the nurses that are going to be taking care of the patient both in the OR and on the floor, are all part of the education and training, talking about how do we recover these patients, what do we expect in surgery. Again, told that these surgeries would never happen here, and here we've done 2.
Yes.
This is incredible.
Yes.
Incredible. Bypass surgeries right here, Hillsdale Hospital. This is what is so exciting for me.
Right.
When we look at our growth strategy, this is one area that just really excites me, because we do no longer have to have people travel out of our community
for
to receive these type
significant
of
procedures
surgeries.
like
Big
these, right?
procedures.
I mean, no one wants to have to travel very far when you need to have surgery, but the more significant the procedure, the longer the recovery time,
That's right.
those kinds of things, the less travel you want to have, right?
Yeah.
So this is
So
great
right
for
here.
that. And it really shows, I think, the dedication to having the technology, having the staff, having the training, having the
Equipment.
processes,
Yeah.
the equipment, all of those things that
Come into play.
have changed since you were told we'll
Yeah.
never do those here.
Absolutely.
But
Yeah.
that perspective didn't take into account all of
The
the
changes.
improvements that we
Yeah.
have been able to make to increase that
Yeah.
level of care that we're able to provide.
Yeah.
So this is not, people before said we couldn't do it and we just decided to do it.
Oh, absolutely not.
This is through a development
You'll never
of-
be able to do that there.
Right.
Because you don't have the
It's-
technology,
Yes.
the recovery skills, yada yada.
So it's been all about building out our OR and our processes to become a place where we can do these procedures very successfully, which we have. So
and the investment
very exciting.
of vascular surgeon Dr. Alam,
Mhm.
who wants to commit his resources to our community,
right, to
and to
take
our
care of
hospital,
patients here. Mhm.
taking care of them and keeping here, where others may say, you know what, we're going to refer you to this place or that place. Dr. Alam says, we're going to take care of you right here at Hillsdale because we can do it.
Yes, so we're going to have him on as soon as we can get him scheduled here for a live stream to talk about those procedures and how well they went and kind of the future of vascular surgery here at Hillsdale Hospital. Let's talk a little bit, JJ, about the healthcare industry. So our vision here at Hillsdale Hospital is to lead the nation in defining and advancing the role of rural health providers. And we continually do that in a multitude of ways. And I think a reflection of that is some of the recognition of our leadership as an institution and from leaders here having an influence in the healthcare industry. For example, back in March, I believe, February or March, you were named a rural CEO to know by Becker's Healthcare, which is a leading industry publication and is very highly regarded. So a huge honor. So congratulations for that being your second time making that list. And then we will send out a press release probably by the end of the week. But also Mark Gross, our Chief Financial Officer and Vice President, was recently named a rural CFO to know by Becker's as well. So those both really demonstrate that within the healthcare industry, the efforts of Hillsdale Hospital are being recognized and elevated as a very successful example of how to lead and how to do what we do here in rural health. And then at the state level, we just doubled, I don't know if you know this, JJ, we doubled the number of Hillsdale Hospital leaders who have been appointed to statewide councils and committees by the Michigan Health and Hospital Association. So that is very exciting.
It is exciting.
There's a press release that will go out about that later today, so you can read the details on our Facebook page, but we will, and all of our social media. But that is really a great opportunity for us to represent the rural voice and be that independent rural voice at the table in some of these different areas related to healthcare and the healthcare industry, and how we are all kind of working together for the betterment of the communities and the patients we serve.
And I would be remiss, because Kirsten and I are going to come up with a press release, because Rachel, you've been named to something that I can't release yet, but
we haven't got the go-ahead yet.
Recognition as well in the nation for the work you're doing in a very important role. So I'm going to be announcing that. And I think really, having attended the Michigan Hospital Association meeting, not only as a board member, but as a participant, and recently the American Hospital Association had the opportunity to present on mental health and awareness for rural communities, and also receive some accolades and awards for the work we're doing here in Hillsdale. And it really just, I guess, bears witness to the statement you made that we are advancing rural health in this country.
Because that is
recognized.
What benefits our community,
it does.
Right? It's one of those things where, and it's part of why we started our podcast, was because we know that there is already a lot of conversation and discussion out there in the world and thought leadership when it comes to rural healthcare, but we wanted to present it from the perspective of a rural hospital
Correct.
that is in that role to then be bringing in and talking to folks from all different areas of rural health, rural economic development, rural America in one way or another. And this is, also part of where that vision is, to lead the nation in defining and advancing the role of rural health providers, because that also ultimately is what benefits especially independent rural hospitals like Hillsdale.
Yeah, absolutely. Exciting things.
Yes. So with that, first do we have any questions or comments from the audience? Okay. So now we are ready to do our new segment. So this is how this is going to work. It's called Who Said That? Because as you all know, JJ and I both like to talk a lot.
What?
And we have no problem talking a lot. So
I resemble that remark.
Oh, do you?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. I reflect that remark specifically. So what we're going to do, Kirsten has printed off and folded into a paper airplane a quote that one of us has said at some point in a past...
how far are we going back? Like 20
I actually
years?
have no idea. Well, so it's going to be a past press release, radio segment, podcast episode, or live stream.
So technically, given
something...
you write all the press releases, even though it may be my quote, I contributed it all to you.
So you could be, you could technically maybe be, let's say, who either spoke or had the quote, if you had to, on the official record, who said, so the writing our answers, first Kirsten's going to throw us our quote, and we'll open it up and read it, and then we'll
There it is. Looky there. All right.
Let's see what we got.
Communication is the key to this industry recovering. The greatest opportunity before us is to tell our story.
Okay, I think I know who said that.
Don't look.
I'm not looking. I'm going to pretend I'm writing for a really long time so that it's hard to tell if I'm writing JJ or Rachel.
Okay.
Did you already just reveal your answer?
How many? No, it's upside
down. I have
down.
a lighter
how many
colored
points?
pen, so.
Oh, just 1 point per. Okay.
Yeah, but then we have to guess if we also, after we give our real answers, or this answer, we can then guess what it was from, or like the time period, or any other attribute about when that thing, when that quote was said. We can get bonus points. So.
Okay.
Okay.
Well,
let's see.
Sorry,
I don't have a black marker, so just give me a second here.
Well, we'll get this done by tomorrow.
Yeah.
Would you like a black marker?
Too late. I'm almost done.
All right.
Okay.
We ready?
No. Okay, now we're ready. Go.
Ready?
Jeremiah Hodshire.
Correct.
We are correct.
We are
nice.
correct.
Good job.
And you know why I know that? Because I have been saying this for about 2 years
Yeah,
now.
I know.
We got to tell our story. That was an easy one. Thank you.
Yes. This is
Yes,
going to be
I'll
fun.
share the points with you, okay, Kirsten?
Because we do have a lot of the same like talking points on
Yeah.
things, but we also both communicate very
Yeah.
differently. So this will be fun to do. Okay,
So
now
we-
when and on
like-
what did we say that?
Well, I say it often, but I do know that I shared it with my staff during all employee meetings last year during the State of the Hospital address.
So when would you have then maybe
month?
also said it in a public setting? Because
In a-
these are all from the public communications that we do. I'm guessing podcast myself,
No,
but I
I'm
don't know.
saying press release, podcast.
Is that your final answer?
Okay, my final answer will be
Wait, let me see it again.
podcast.
And for our audio, look, this was a beautiful paper airplane,
It
by
was.
the way.
It
Great
flew
job,
very,
Kirsten.
very straight.
Communication is the key to this industry recovering. The greatest opportunity before us is to tell our story. Yeah, I'm going to stick with podcast.
Me too.
So,
Correct.
Correct. Yes.
Okay, so we both got 2 points.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then now we have to figure out if we guess like what episode or
Oh, for
when
crying
or
out
anything
loud,
like
are you
that.
kidding me?
That's just for more bonus
Only
points.
you would know that. I can't figure that stuff out.
No, I honestly have no idea.
All right.
Well,
Well,
we
let's
could
just
try
say
if we
we're
wanted.
2-2.
This is
Communications.
from a mini-sode, Communication with Your Teams in February of 2023.
February
Okay.
of 2023. Okay.
So that was a
Been a little
while
while
back.
ago.
I've not slept a lot since then, but I
Neither.
have slept at least
Neither.
once since then. Actually, last night both kids slept through the night.
That's
so that
awesome.
was great. That
That
was
is
wonderful.
awesome.
Okay, well that was fun.
That's
So
great.
Kirsten's gonna keep our,
All right,
our
Kirsten,
running
we're
total
excited.
up. Yep, and we have a couple more types of segments where we can earn points that we're kind of thinking about and brainstorming and workshopping.
Nice.
So it may not always be this particular one, but
Yeah.
this was our starting one. So
Great.
that was fun. That went very well. All right. Any closing remarks from you, JJ?
I have
before
none
do
other
our-
than we just appreciate
up?
the support of our community to make all of these programs we just talked about possible. We engage our public and we invite you to use our services. That is how we're going to continue to keep this hospital propped up for years to come.
Yes. So to close, we want to, as JJ just did, thank you, our community, for your continued support. If you would like to connect with us more, visit hillsdalehospital.com/live, where we will have all the links for you to nominate a hospital staff member for our patient care award, support our capital fundraising campaign, learn about volunteering opportunities, consider joining an award-winning workplace in the healthcare industry, with more awards coming, I hope and imagine, in the future.
Can't release it yet, but we
for
will
Hillsdale
in the future.
Hospital. So catch us also on WCSR on Fridays and Buzz Online on Saturdays for our radio updates. And don't forget to check out our national podcast, Rural Health Rising, at ruralhealthrising.com, or subscribe wherever you get your podcasts. We will see you here again next Wednesday. And until then, stay safe, stay healthy, stay Hillsdale strong, and choose Hillsdale first.